Oh, hello everybody. Right, this is now my third video for beginners. Keep learning. If you want to know my credentials, I'm now triple elite. That means I've done the full complement of elites 3 times over with 3 different commanders. This is now my 4th commander, and so I have quite a bit of experience of doing this sort of thing, in particular in doing the activities that I'm going to show you. Problem is that FD design developers keep changing things as fast as we learn how to do them, and so since I did the last one already, they've changed a few things, and also I've learned a bit more, so I want to just show you all these and try and put together the definitive guide to getting started using bounty hunting. And I believe that's the best way to get going. Now you've probably done the bounty of the combat tutorials and didn't do very well in them. Nobody does. Even I can't do very well in them even after this time. So don't worry about that. What happens in the game is nothing like that at all. This is dead easy. Nobody's going to shoot at you. You're just going to make loads of money. There's very little danger involved. So, and even if there is, it's easy to start again. So don't worry about anything. The fact that you suck at combat has nothing to do with it. You can be an absolute imbecile at combat, but still you'll make plenty of money. Right, so here we are in my brand new commander. Need a ship name. I just got it Sidewinder for now because I can't think of anything better. You can put in any name you want in there, your favourite ship. So where are we? So start, and we're going to do this in solo mode. Don't do it in open, because if you do it in open you're going to be in competition with other people for the same things, and it doesn't work out very well always. So get this out the way, then start doing playing in open. You can do it in open, but as I just say, it gets complicated. You don't necessarily get blown up by other commanders, but you're going to be bounty hunting and you'll be choosing targets, and there might be the only one there and they want it as well. So some, you know, don't like it when other people steal their stuff. Right, so let's see where we are. Normally it takes you through pre-flight checks. Now we're starting in Baker's Prospect, which is the Horizons version. Now what you can do is when you launch the game with the blue launch page, instead of selecting Horizons, Elite Dangerous Horizons, select Elite Dangerous 64, and that will start you in LHS 3447, a different place. And there's lots of good bounty hunting very close to that, in particular Kremainn, Kremainn. I'll put that in the comments so you can find it, and that's just a couple of jumps away. So instead of doing all what we're going to do here, you can just go straight there and do the same thing as what I'm going to show you in this one, but do it in Kremainn. That's dead easy, and there's a station right near the where you're bounty hunting, so you can go and cash in there. Doing it here is more complicated because FD took away the best sites where you can do it, and all the good ones are too far to jump with this basic Sidewinder. So what we've got to do is go and get some money, then equip our ship a bit better, and then you can do what you like after that. Okay, so the place I'm going to go to is, there's a bit of paper, CE Bootis. So open up your galaxy map and click on this one here. That's the one where it'll open up this search one, and type in CE Bootis. Hopefully this works. I've done it once before. Now normally you'd click on just point at that to bring up the dialog box, and this one here is the one that navigates to it. So if I click on that, route plotting failed. So it's not going to allow us to that. Let's see if we can go to Rack Parlor. No. What have I done differently? Okay, let me try one more thing. So I'm going to go to outfitting. see if I can make my ship a bit lighter. So starport services. I'm going to get rid of some of the stuff we don't need. See if that's what did it last time. Where are we? Outfitting. Okay, and I'm looking at the optional internal. They've given us a planetary vehicle hangar, which we don't need. Now, can we sell it? That's the question. Brilliant. Oh, even better still. So we can get 5,000 credits for it. So we'll sell it. Don't worry about this. You're going to make this money back all over. We don't need a basic discovery scanner either. Normally these are loaned. Oh, we can't get anything for that, so we'll keep that. But does it weigh anything? Oop. Yep, it weighs 2 tons. So less weight. If you look down the bottom here, we can jump 7 light years at the moment. Sell it. Sell. Now we're up to 8. Don't need cargo. Sell. And I think with that money, how much money have we got now? We've still got 1,000, so we didn't get that money for that thing. Okay, let's just try that now. So we can jump a bit further now. So here we go again. Exit. Galaxy map. Yeah, it's allowing it now. So we want to go to CE Bootis. There it is there. If I can just get it. But let me just show you something. Right, you'll notice that the last part is dotted. That means you don't have enough fuel to get there. So what we got to do, we got to go to Rakar Pillar and refuel there. Then we can get to CE Bootis. Okay. So here we go. So just press the launch key. Oh, it's going to take us through pre-flight checks. So we've got to pitch up, pitch down, roll left. Come on. Roll right. Oops, my stick's moving. Throttle up, throttle down, landing gear, weapons, target. Right, if you can't do those things, you shouldn't be taking off. So do the tutorials until you've got the hang of those. Right, we're at a planet, so we've got to escape from that first. So you just press your vertical thruster, up you go. As soon as you're clear, take your landing gear up, point up. If there's a white dot there like that, that's probably straight up. And then boost. That gets you up there quicker. Now, if you look on the right hand side, where it says speeding, don't have to worry too much about that as long as you don't crash into somebody. You'll see various lines and things. There's a blue square just gone out that said mass locked. As soon as that's gone, you can engage your frameshift drive. Which you can't. You got to engage super cruise, because the target is behind the planet, so it won't allow a direct jump to it. So whatever button you got for super cruise, there's normally 2, one for super cruise and one for jumping frameshift drive. So then just keep full throttle and straight up. And if you look on those scales on either side, it says sort of 88. That means what you want is that to be about 90. If you just adjust a little bit, you can't get it exact because it keeps spinning round. So that means we're pointing directly up. And then on to the right of that, there's a solid line with some sort of scale on it, and you'll see some numbers counting and a little line moving up. So it's at 107 at the moment. Once it's gone right up and got clear, you can then start pointing at your target and hopefully jump towards it. So you can, if I just rotate round, so that if you look to the left of the radar, there's a little circle thing with a white blob at the top. That's actually our target where we need to go to. So if I just tilt up a bit, point towards it, I'm watching that scale. You can let it get to about 66 degrees. So I am actually just angled from the planet a little bit now at 60 degrees to it. So it's like straight up, just a bit of an angle on it. That just make it a tiny bit. You can jump a bit sooner. But normally, so that one on the right now, it says 67, 68, where it says 0C, just coming to 0C. Once you get past there, it'll start accelerating upwards. Oh, not at full throttle, that's why. So I got a button for full throttle, it must have slipped off. Right, so here we go, and probably now I'm okay. So I engage for a frame shift drive. Yeah, it says charging, and now I can point at it. So we're going to Kremainn. I'll show you a few other things along the way which might help. But you need full throttle to jump. Right, you've probably done this in the tutorials. So you want zero throttle now, right, so that you don't end up flying into the star. So there's the place we want to jump to. So now we can point to it and go round. Now, oh, one thing, very, very useful. If you look in the middle of my screen, there's a dot. Can you see it? Which is where I'm pointing. If you go to your options here, and it's in controls, right at the top, mouse controls, show mouse widget, switch it on. That's going to be really useful later when you come to fuel scooping. But it's also useful, I'll show you why. So you switch it on, then apply, but mine's already on, so I don't need to do that. Back to game menu, resume. Right, now, when I'm going forwards with any speed, can you see that yellow line around the star there? As long as you keep that dot outside of that line, so if I stop, the line goes away. But if I go, it comes back again. As long as you keep that line out, you're happy. So you can fly around the star, just keeping that dot outside that yellow line. If that dot goes inside the yellow line, you crash into the star. And it goes bang and damages your ship a little bit. And it gets very hot. So you don't want to do that. So just waiting. Now, if you see the symbol for the star on my radar, it's shrinking. If you just look back on the video. And once it started shrinking, you can engage your frame shift drive. Whoops. If you go too soon, you overheat. So don't engage your frame shift drive as soon as you can point or as soon as it's cooled down. Just watch it. It normally starts off red and it's quite big. See if it does it at the next one. And then it goes orange. I think you can jump once it goes orange, but I always wait for it to start shrinking. Once it starts shrinking, you're clear to go and you won't overheat. Again, with this sidewinder, all these things, they're not quite so critical, but later in the game it will be. Right, is this... No, the next one is Rocket Pilot. So now I just fly around the star. It's always... the jump point's normally round the back of it. So I'm just keeping that dot outside the line, full throttle, and here it comes, there from behind the star. So I'm getting a bit warm, but we should be away before then. Now watch the symbol for the star. See, it's big and red at the moment behind me. Now it's just gone orange. Now it's shrinking, so now I can jump. And if you notice, my temperature went right up to about 84 or something. If I'd have jumped then, it would just shot right up past 100 and there'd be sparks going off everywhere. Because that was a big star, very hot. Right, so when we get to Rakapilla, we've got to find a station to refuel. I'll show you the fuel gauge in a minute. So back to zero throttle. Just brings you to the star in control. You know, it's good to get good practice. Right, I can open up my throttle now. So, oh, I don't want to make the next jump. I should have just targeted Rakapilla. So I'm looking, I just opened up the navigation panel, and if we look down here, down there, Stone Enterprise, so target that, so double click, and it'll appear like that. So now just full throttle for a bit towards it. Now look at the number at the bottom where it says Enterprise, it's 37, then 1 point something or other. You go full throttle till that gets to 7 seconds. And the moment it hits 7 seconds, pull your throttle right back, or go 0 throttle. Let's just, there you go, 0 throttle, and you'll see start going up now. But if you now put your throttle right in the middle of the blue zone, you won't overshoot. Now if you look just on the right of the radar, you'll see sort of a blue block. If I wiggle the throttle a bit, so it's yellow now, and as I open the throttle, the line sort of turns blue. So that's it, that's in the middle of the blue zone. And there the number will stay around about 6 or 7 seconds, and you won't overshoot. If you go any higher than that, that number goes down to 5, 4, 3, and then you just shoot right past, and then you have to come back in from the other side. Now, I'm just going to slow down a bit now. To the left of the radar now is the symbol for the station, and you see it's sort of pointing downwards and away from us. So as we move around, that moves with us. So what we want to do, the place we want to fly in is that bit at the bottom, which is underneath it at the moment. So we want to come in, see what it, if that's the station there, we want to come in from sort of underneath here and then sort of loop round in from the other side. So I'm just going to put it on back in the blue zone. Here we go. So I'm going to sort of loop round, and the trick is if you match sort of the length of the station from that mouse widget to the dot where it says Enterprise, and the angle, now we could say disengage now, but if you just carry on for a bit, so you just keep matching it, and now oops, too late, sorry. I'll show you what to do if you're too late. Are we too late? No. Yeah, we did shoot past it, so messed up. So there's the entrance there. So I was just too late because I was talking. So just boost around it. And here's a little trick. If you use your down thruster, you sort of, it brings you much more in control because you can see where you're going. So yeah, I'm full down thrust now, just sort of pointing towards where the entrance is. You need to watch out that you don't like down thrust onto somebody. So just keep an eye on who's underneath you. But that's quite handy. If you boost as well, it speeds things up. So that's a really good technique when you're at the outpost type stations, because you never know where you're supposed to go with those. I'll show you that later. Right, so we need to get docking permission. So you find that under contacts. Alright, so now we can fly in. So I've got 2 pips to everything at the moment. I'll show you pips also in a minute. Right, so you just got to like, oh, ideally, let's do it properly. You want the green on the right and come in on the green side. So you want to come in sort of down here like this. That's because the ship's coming out will be on the other side, the red side. What number do we want? 43. So once you're in the station, get close to the landing pad, put your landing gear down, and here's a little hint. Take your pips off the engines. I'll show you that, how to do pips in a minute, but if you haven't already figured it out. And what that does, that makes the ship much more docile, so you can adjust it more easily for the landing pad, and it won't scoot about all over the place. There we go. So if you look to the right where those pips are, oh, I can't adjust them now. I'll show you that in a minute then. Right, so we want Starport Services. And then refuel. So we can exit that. And if you look to the, on the extreme right hand side, where it says fuel, underneath that is a solid line, like an underlining, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks. Those blocks I think are not tons, but that's fuel in your fuel tank. And each time you jump, you use up some of those. The top line is the reserve fuel tank. That's the thin solid line underneath where it says fuel. That's your reserve tank, and that goes down all the time. When it gets down to the bottom where the F for fuel is, it'll take the next block out of those ones. So you have to be careful, because you could have enough fuel to jump with, but then just before you jump, that line gets to the end and then steals a block, and that leaves you stranded. So always beware of that when that line gets to the end, it's going to steal a block. So we went about halfway down, just past that, before we landed here. So we're ready to go again. So I'll launch. And now I can use my pips again. So I'm going to put 4 pips to engines now. That's going to get me a quicker getaway. So vertical thrust up. Out we go. So again, green on the right, on the green side. You don't have to worry too much about speeding unless you hit somebody. So if you're pretty sure you're not going to hit anybody, you can go as fast as you like. But if you hit somebody, you get fined. Right, so I'm just going to boost away from here. By, oops, landing gear up first. You can't boost when you've got your landing gear up. So I'm just pointing away from those other ships. And I'm just going to boost for a bit. I'll leave it on full throttle. There's nothing in front of me. You always be clear about that. It sometimes actually sort of loop across and bash you from the top, so you have to be a bit careful. But I can now open up my galaxy map and get back to CE Bootis. There it is in the thing, but if I just sort of switch it off and on again, it'll put the points on my compass again. It wasn't on there just now. So if you look at that little compass to the left of the radar, just steer towards to make the dot come in the middle, and there you can see it there. So I'm clear of mass lock now, so I'm ready to jump, full throttle, and where we go. Yeah, normally you get a starter mission. I didn't see that this time. Not too sure why, unless they've done away with that. But even if you do get it, just ignore it, because you only get 10,000 credits for it. We're going to make that 100 times over in no time at all. It's just a pain that you got to do this travelling now that you didn't used to have to do. So I'll just summarise again while we're doing this. So next one there, we're clear of the star. So frameshift drive. Yeah, so we had to make our ship a little bit lighter, selling the stuff we didn't need, like that SRV, the reconnaissance vehicle. You'll need that later in the game, but you can just buy it again. You know, we got our money. Well, we actually didn't get the money for it. If you want to see how much money you got any time, you can look to the left panel. It should show you on there. But I think it showed 1,000 credits, the starting money. So we don't actually need any money for this. So I'm just going to, while I'm going round the stars, there's the yellow line round the outside of it. Whoop. So I'm just going to, whoop. Doesn't matter if you just like come in a little bit, but you don't want to stay in there. So where is it there? So 933 credits, yeah, because we spent some on fuel. So we're going down. So CE Bootis, there it is. Right, so here we are. So I'm going to open the system map and see what it shows us. I'll just keep going forward to get away from the star for when I'm doing it. Whoops, wrong button. Takes a while for the system maps to come up now for some reason or other. They did solve it for a bit, but these things come and go. Right. Now, you'll notice there's all these ringed planets. So these resource extraction sites we want are in ringed planets. But unfortunately, the type that we want aren't in these ones. They're only in this far out star. So if you go to that, normally we'd click on that. But I want to fill up with fuel first. So we go to the nearest station, which is that one there. So you can click on that one. Or you can find it in your panel here. If you just start from the top and just come down, there it is there. And if you're not too sure what stations, you can go set filters, stations, and then all the stations show. So Asher Gateway is the nearest one, 901 light seconds. That won't take us long to get there. And you'll see the symbols come to the left of the little compass thing. So full throttle for a bit, same as before. And this time the station is in irregular shape and the landing pad could be anywhere. So when the time comes, we might see it or we might not. And if you can't see it, I can tell you, you can fly around it all day. And sometimes, when I was a beginner, I couldn't figure out how to find it. And I'll show you a little trick which will get you there very quickly. So while we're waiting, we'll put 4 pips to engines. It doesn't affect us just now, but it will affect us when we drop out. So we're waiting for that to go to 7 seconds. Oops. Do. And in the blue zone, this time we can go straight to the station. Where is it? There somewhere. I'm using dual sticks and I've got my yaw on the same side as the throttle, so if I steer with the yaw it interferes with my throttle. And I've got the throttle on a button, so if I just wiggle my stick, it goes immediately to 0 because my stick's zeroed at the moment. You don't have to worry about things like that, but that's why I'm steering in a funny way at the moment. So I'm only steering with the left stick, which is pitch and yaw. Right, if you look at the countdown now, when it gets to million meters, once it gets to 1 million, you can drop out. So here we go. Right, so I normally do a single boost to the station, then ask for docking permission, so it's in contacts, Asher Gateway. You need to be within 7.5 kilometers. Now there's the landing pad there, hopefully. You need to check it's the right one. We want number 1, it looks like a number 1 written on it. So I'm rotating round. So if you didn't know where it was, what you do, if you can't see it, like before, just down thrust and boost. And sort of keep pointing at the station. So while you do that, so if you look, we're sort of rotating around the station. That one's come into view. So you can see every landing pad on the thing until you find the one you want. So as soon as you can, it takes a while for the capacitor to charge up. So you can't boost immediately, you've got to wait a little bit. So if you look at the capacitor, the middle one of those 3 columns to the right, once it gets to the top you can boost, but I don't need to boost again now because I'm there. So you just rotate round and everything will come into view. But if you try and fly round, no chance. Right, get those pips back off the engine now. That's it, otherwise it's difficult to control the ship. So get our landing gear down. Down we go.
Landing gear deployed.
You can just adjust sideways with your side thrusters. I usually sort of point to the far side landing pad and then just rotate round. down thrust. Oh, there we go. Right, so all we need to do here is refuel, and then we're going to get out and start the serious business. Refuel, and that's it. So off we go again. Vertical thrust. You don't need to rotate it. As soon as it's clear, just boost away. Landing gear first. Keep forgetting. Okay, I'll just leave it on full throttle for a bit. Right, now we want to find that star again. I can't remember which number it was, but if you open up your system map, it's that one there. So let's bring it into the middle first. It's this symbol here. So if you want to navigate within a system, it's this one targets it. So you click on the thing, and then that one. And if you're jumping from one system to another, you can jump. You can go, like you can target the star you want or the planet you want to go to, but you have to use that one. And then what will happen is once you arrive at a star, there'll be another pointer telling you which way to go to the planet. You can bookmark things here as well if you want. So there's a few things. You know, if you come there regularly. So there it is. I'm just using the compass now to steer to it. So I'm clear of mass lock. So do the frameshift drive. I'm just going to put some pips back in case I need them, but I don't think I will.